Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to another video. Now this is a continuation of my top 10, 15, 20, 30 albums from 1965 to 1989, and as usual I put a poll up with 67, 69 and 89, and although 89 took a real sharp lead at the start, 1969 won out. So I'm going to go through my 20 favourite albums of 1969. Now, I played quite a few of these over the past week or so, and some that I thought would be actually quite high have dropped a little bit, and some have actually dropped out of the top 20. But as normal, I will give three bubbling unders. My first bubbling under is Fleetwood Mac, Then Play On, which I thought I liked more than I actually did. I really do enjoy Coming Your Way, the Danny Kirwan song, and Although the Sun is Shining is another good one, but there is still a lot of bluesy elements in it, and as you know, I'm not a blues fan, but it was okay. I just did not think it was as good as it was. Closing My Eyes is pretty good, One Sunny Day is pretty good, and the version I had on CD had Oh Well Parts 1 and 2 on it, although it was not part of the original album, so it doesn't count. Another bubbling under is the Stooges, their debut album, and great songs like 1969, I Wanna Be Your Dog, No Fun are all very, very good. And then the big epic, very moody We Will Fall, which is not a bad track, although it's 10 minutes long. You have to be in the mood for it, so it just failed to make the top 20. And the third one is King Crimson in the Court of the Crimson King. Yeah, I'm not a huge prog fan, but I do like this album, although I cannot stand the song Moonchild, which is about 12 minutes long. The first 3 minutes is okay, and then it just goes into, I don't know what it is, it's just dreadful. 21st Century Schizoid Man is a good song, although there's a little bit too much noodling in that for me. And then the other two I really like are I Talk to the Wind and Epitaph, because they sound a bit like the Moody Blues. And of course, the fact that the title track's actually very good, so that's the whole 5 songs. So my top 20 are at number 20. Thought this would be higher, and it's Led Zeppelin 2. Yeah, I love Whole Lot of Love, and that's what got this actually into the top 20. And I also love What Is and What Should Never Be as another great track. Some of it is, Thank You is a very good song. Heartbreaker's not bad, but I prefer Livin' Lovin' Wreck. I had to write those down because there's nothing in the bag. And Ramble On's quite good. The Lemon song I like, but the lyrics I find very, very cringy. So it gets my number 20. At number 19, and it's the debut by Mott the Hoople. And this is actually quite bluesy in places as well, and quite rocky. The big hit off this, well, it wasn't actually a hit, but the most well-known song is Rock and Roll Queen, which is good. It's Mick Ruff's song. It's not bad, but it's the more laid-back stuff I like. For example, Laugh at Me, the Sonny Bono song, I think is great, and Backsliding Fearlessly, the Ian Hunter song, I think is magnificent. There's an instrumental to start this of You Really Got Me, which for me is a bit pointless, but it's actually not bad at all. And then you get Half Moon Bay, which is probably the big epic of this. It's a good debut. It's not fantastic, but it's decent, and that gets my number 19. At number 18, and this band had 3 albums this year, and I'm only picking one of them, and it's Creedence Clearwater Revival, and I'm giving it to Green River. Now, I do like these albums, but I am not at the moment in the mood for Creedence. If I was, I'm sure Willie and the Poor Boys would have got in as well, but I think this is the best of the 3. I do like the title track. Commotion is probably my favourite track off this. I think it's very good. You do get Bad Moon Rising and Lodi, which I do like, those sort of more acoustic-y type songs, well, Lodi especially. Cross Tie Walker is a bit of a bluesy number, but I really do like the way the bass runs down in the chorus. I think it's very, very good with a drum at the very end, like, and a cymbal crash. I think it's actually very catchy. Wrote a Song for Everyone, yeah, and Tombstone Shadow, all very good songs. Very good album, and these guys were so prolific in '69, as I say. This Willie and the Poor Boys and Bayou Country came out, but I think this one is the best of the 3. At number 17, and is the debut by Slade, was originally Ambrose Slade, and this is not the Slade of the early 70s like your Come On Feel the Noise or Squeeze Me Please Me. This is again slightly bluesy as well. The single off this was Genesis, which is a instrumental, but then they put words to it and released it again under the name Know Who You Are. There's quite a few cover versions of this. They do a really good cover version of the Moody Blues Fly Me High, which I think is great. The song Roach Daddy is, I believe, a full group composition, or it might be just Holder and Lee, but it is probably the most bluesy of the lot, and it's actually my favourite, being a blues song as well. I don't understand, I just like the guitar on it. Pity the Mother is probably the epic song off this, which I think is very good, and that is a full band composition. Knocking Nails in My House shows signs of Slade in the early 70s. It's an Idle Race song. I think it might have been a single or a B-side for Idle Race. And they also do a cover version of Martha My Dear. Probably the most famous track off this for Slade is another cover, which is Born to Be Wild, which is not bad. This is a decent album. It's not the Slade of Slade or Old New Born Blue or Slade and Flame or anything like that, but it is a good entry for the band. I think it's a decent enough album. So Beginnings gets my number 17. At number 16, and it's the Beach Boys, and it's 2020, and I think this is really good. This wasn't going to get in the top 20, but I really enjoyed it. It is a little bit top heavy with Do It Again, I Can Hear Music and Bluebirds Over the Mountain, the first 3 songs on the album, but there's some really great tracks off this. Like I Went to Sleep is absolutely gorgeous, Time to Get Along, Never Learn Not to Come, and Our Prayer is beautiful, and I believe that was originally slated for the Smile album. And they do a very good cover version of the old song Cotton Fields. Yeah, I do enjoy this. I think it's a very good album, and it gets my number 16. At number 15, and it's the second album by Status Quo, and it's Spare Parts. There was one single off this, Are You Growing Tired of My Love, which didn't do very well, and it sounds a lot like the Bee Gees. In fact, quite a few of the songs off this sound like it could have come off Bee Gees first. But saying that, it's a really good album. Like Face Without a Soul, I think is absolutely brilliant. My favourite track, Antique Angelica, was co-written by Alan Lancaster. In fact, he gets more writing credits on this than any of them. You also get really good stuff like Mr. Mind Detector is very psychedelic, Nothing at All is great. Little Miss Nothing is very, very good as well. And Poor Old Man. Again, it does sound a bit like the Bee Gees, but it is very good, and that gets my number 15. Number 14, and it is Leonard Cohen and Songs from a Room. Now this is the one with Bird on the Wire, which is gorgeous, and my favourite track is Lady Midnight, which I think is fantastic. I also love A Bunch of Lonesome Heroes, which has got a real So Long Marianne feel about it, and as does The Butcher as well, which is actually quite good. The Partisans, beautiful song, and Tonight Will Be Fine has got a lovely acoustic run on it. It's a beautiful song. Yes, it is very, very stripped back. It's just him with acoustic guitar and a bass guitar and maybe the odd little sound effect here and there, but it's a beautiful album, and I think this is better than his debut. So Songs from a Room gets my number 14. Okay, number 13, and we have the Byrds, Dr. Byrds and Mr. Hyde, and this is the one with This Wheel's on Fire on it, which I absolutely love. The best version of that track. Old Blue, catchy little country number about a dog. Drugstore Truck Driving Man, co-written with Graham Parsons, which I think is a very, very good country song. I think it's about a country DJ. There is a live medley at the end, which includes My Back Pages, which I don't like. I just don't see the point of sticking a live track on at the end. But other tracks are very good, like Child of the Universe and Your Gentle Way of Loving Me, Candy, King Apathy III, all very good songs. And this was actually quite successful in the UK. I think it was one of their highest charting albums. So Dr. Byrds and Mr. Hyde gets my number 13. At number 12, and we have Elton John's debut, and it's Empty Sky. And I wasn't going to put this in the top 20 either until I played it again, and I thought it was really, really good. The opening track, Empty Sky, is one heck of a rocker. Really, really good. It's quite long as well. Valhalla is beautiful. You get bits of harpsichord throughout this, and his voice is not quite the Elton voice that you know and love from the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road days. It still hasn't developed quite well enough yet, but still the songs are great. Hymn 2000 is very good. Lady What's Tomorrow I've always loved, and I've always loved The Scaffold as well, even though it's extremely catchy. And this is the album that includes the original version of Skyline Pigeon, which is a gorgeous song, full of harpsichord, but absolutely gorgeous. But yet again, the very last track lets it down is Gulliver, Hey Jude, and Reprise. Hey Jude, not Hey Jude. And it's not brilliant, but overall this album is actually really, really good, and I think now I might actually prefer this to his next one, Elton John. Not sure yet, but still really enjoyed it, and that's my number 12. And number 11, and it's The Who and Tommy, and it's an album that took me ages to get into, but I really do enjoy it. Overture Is a Boy, absolutely brilliant. The two big ones for me are still Pinball Wizard and I'm Free, but there is an awful lot on this to really enjoy. I always like the song Christmas. Amazing Journey and Sparks is good. Acid Queen's very good. There's one that I don't like, and it's the big long track Underture, which goes on and on and on. It would be okay if it was a third of the time. And Sally Simpson's very good as well, and We're Not Gonna Take It is the bit with See Me Feel Me. Very, very good album, really enjoy it, and so I guess my number 11. So going on to the top 10, and I have Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline, and this is Bob with his different voice. Lay Lady Lay, love it. Girl from the North Country with Johnny Cash, I think is very good as well. I actually prefer it to the freewheeling version. I Threw It All Away as one of his best ever songs, absolutely brilliant. As is Tonight I'll Be Staying Here With You, really good. Nashville Skyline Rag is just one of those little country numbers which is very good as well. And I always loved the wee catchy One More Night. This is a very short album, but it's really enjoyable, and because of that it gets my number 10. Right, at number 9, and maybe you think this is too low, but I have the Rolling Stones and Let It Bleed. Now, if it wasn't for Monkey Man and Gimme Shelter, this would probably be a little bit further on down. But the other ones I really like off this are Love in Vain. Again, it's a blues one, and I'm not a blues fan, but that one works. And I do like You Got the Silver. Midnight Rambler is the one I just do not like, and it's too long, and it's far too bluesy. Live With Me is okay, but it's very sort of generic Stones sound, or what was to be a very generic Stones sound. You can't always get what you want, it's too long, and there's no middle 8, it's just a chorus verse, which it's okay, I like it, but I don't like it that much. Country Hunk, I would prefer it to be Honky Tonk Women. It's a good album, but Gimme Shelter itself and Monkey Man are fantastic, and that's what got it up to number 9. And at number 8 we have The Velvet Underground and their third album. Yeah, this is very, very good. This is so laid back compared to the previous one, White Light, White Heat. Candy Says is a lovely opener. What Goes On, Brian Ferry covered that, and I actually covered Beginning to See the Light, which is also on this, and he put them two together and just called it What Goes On, but I love both of those tracks. Some Kind of Love's fine. Pale Blue Eyes is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, and I've always liked The Story of My Life. I'm Set Free, another good song. Jesus, another good song, and even After Hours, the Mo Tucker song is quirky. Very, very good album. I still prefer their debut, but this is probably their second best album. Okay, at number 7, and I have The Idle Race and their second album, and this is the band with Jeff Leonard. And this is a really, really good album. Come With Me is fantastic opener, and then the beautiful acoustic Sea of Dreams, absolutely gorgeous. Going Home has some of Jeff's best vocals from around that time, especially in the chorus whenever he goes actually quite high. I've always been a big fan of Mr. Crow and Sir Norman. The first time I heard of the Idle Race was a CD I bought, which was the best of, featuring Jeff Lynne, and that was always one of the standout tracks for me. But Girl at the Window, which references the Beatles, is an extremely catchy Beatlesque song. Big Chief Woolly Bosher is not one of the best. It's about Native Americans and it goes on a little bit too long. But Someone's Knocking is very good, and A Better Life again is very good, and Hurry Up John's a good rocker. This is a very melodic album, and it does sound a bit like the Beatles, but it sounds more like the Moves' first album from, I think it was 1967. But I think this is actually better than that. I think the songs are stronger, and whenever Jeff then moved on to the Move, pardon the pun, he went all progressive. Now these are good pop songs which I think would be harder to write, and they're absolutely magnificent, and it gets my number 7. At number 6, and I have the Moody Blues, To Our Children's Children's Children, and it's my favourite Moody Blues album. Starts off with Graham Age's Higher and Higher, which I think is magnificent. You get the Eyes of a Child Floating, Eyes of a Child again. The Eyes of a Child part was written by John Lodge, and I think the floating was Ray Thomas. Out and In, the Pinder song, or Mike Pinder song, I think is very, very good. And then Justin Hayward's Gypsy is an absolute classic, as is Watching and Waiting. Candle of Life by John Lodge, absolutely beautiful track, and Sun Is Still Shining, the Mike Pinder song, is very good as well. Yeah, I really do like this, and I'll always say it, those first 7 Moody's albums are excellent. Well, the second to 8, we don't count the Magnificent Moody's. So To Our Children's Children's Children gets my number 6. At number 5, and we have Tyrannosaurus Rex and Unicorn, and this is their 3rd album. And this is a beautiful album, it really is. It starts off with Chariots of Silk, which again is one of my favourite Tyrannosaurus Rex songs. Cat Black is full of piano, which is a change because normally it's just bongos and acoustic guitar. She Was Born to Be My Unicorn is dreamy, absolutely gorgeous. Seal of Seasons is more like the previous Tyrannosaurus Rex albums, you know, full of acoustic guitar, heavy strumming, very, very good. The Sea Beast Iscariot is a beautiful song as well. And then you get the very catchy The Pilgrim's Tale and The Misty Coast of Albany. I think this is a really good album. I still think Beard to Stars is probably my favourite of the 4 Tyrannosaurus Rex albums, but this is up there, and it's my number 5 for 1969. Okay, my number 4, and it is the Kinks, and it is Arthur. Opening up with fantastic Victoria, and then the brilliant Yes Sir No Sir. Some Mother's Son, beautiful lyrics about losing children in war. Driving was the single, which it shouldn't have been. It's a good song, good LP track, but never a good single. Australia maybe goes on a little bit too long, but it's still an excellent track. Shangri-La is an epic, and it was a single as well, but I still think it wasn't the best choice. She Bought a Hat Like Princess Marina, I've always loved that track. Nothing to Say, Arthur is an epic at the end. I think side 1 of this is slightly better than side 2, but this is up there with the Kinks' best, and it's in that period from 66 to 71 where they could do no wrong. So Arthur is my number 4. And my 3rd favourite, and it is the Bee Gees and Odessa, and this is a double album. And the big hit single of this was 1st of May, and this is the one that caused a lot of trouble between Robin and Barry, because Robin wanted Lamplight to be the single and Barry got his way. I think Lamplight's the better song, I really do, although 1st of May did chart well. I think it got top 10. But the title track off this is immense, and then You'll Never See My Face Again, another acoustic song. Very acoustic album, but the harmonies in this are brilliant. I love the track Whisper Whisper, which is very Kinks-like. Melody Fair, it says it in the title, it is just a gorgeous melody, so it is. Never Say Never Again is another catchy song. Black Diamond, a really good track. There are a couple of instrumentals on this as well, which it doesn't spoil it. And so Odessa by the Bee Gees is my number 3. My second favourite album from '69 and is David Bowie, and it is David Bowie. He's had 2 albums called David Bowie. This was later retitled Space Oddity. Side 1 of this is absolutely perfect with Space Oddity and then Unwashed and Somewhat Slightly Dazed, which I think is a quite Dylan-esque sort of rock track, which I think would have made a fantastic single. You'd have to edit out a wee bit at the end because the instrumentation goes on quite long. Then you get Letter to Hermione, which is a beautiful acoustic song, and then one of his best ever in Signet Committee. So side 1, perfect. Side 2 is not quite as perfect, but you do get the gorgeous acoustic An Occasional Dream, as well as The Wild Eyed Boy for Free Cloud, which is an epic song. And if that's an epic song, Memory of a Free Festival is even more epic, and it was edited down to be a single, and Mick Ronson then put some guitar on it. Only other 2 songs are God Knows I'm Good, which is fun, and Janine, which is a nice song. So really, although side 1 is perfect, side 2 is not far from perfect, and I think this is one of Bowie's most underrated albums, and it would be in my top 6. So David Bowie or Space Oddity. Which means my favourite album from 1969, and it is, no surprises, Abbey Road. Yeah, starting off with Come Together, then Something, brilliant. I always liked Maxwell Silverhammer. I don't know why people don't. However, Oh Darling is my least favourite on the album, but I still like it. I just think it sounds like Oh Donna, or Donna, the Ritchie Valens song, or even the 10cc one. It's got that sort of generic sound. Octopus's Garden is Ringo's best ever song, and I Want You, She's So Heavy is brilliant as well. Side 2, the whole of the medley, including Here Comes the Sun, I count the whole side as the medley. Here Comes the Sun, fantastic, because the harmony is beautiful. You Never Give Me Your Money, Sun King, Mean Mr. Mustard, Polythene Pam, She Came In Through the Bathroom Window, absolutely fantastic. And then you get Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight, and the end, brilliant. And then a wee bit of Her Majesty. Absolutely fantastic album, and it's my 3rd favourite album of all time, so it had to win 1969. So that's my top 20 from 1969. I hope you enjoyed that. I will put another poll up with 3 different years and to see which one you want to see next. Okay, that's me for now. All the best now. Bye bye.